lives all the time now. Come on. Come here. You can.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode 371 here of Stu and the Nun. Tonight, it's Stu, Rob, and Doug. It's a Stu, Rob, and Doug show. Thank goodness Rob's name does not start with a T. Otherwise, it'd be the STD show.
Whoa.
Stay.
You're off to a good start.
That's great. And I realized, well, that would be one we wouldn't want. But episode 371. Unfortunately, we had a great guest lined up tonight. He had to cancel at the last minute, and we were not able to reset and realign aiming post, as we would say in the mortar world.
Ooh, refer. Yeah.
Refer, realign post. Thank you for the correction. And so Rob's coming on camera. Doug said he would jump in, and so you got us tonight. There's no shortage of current events. Hey guys, good to see you. Glad to have you on.
Great to see you all.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Doug, we got to get Doug a background. It's
Yes. Can you send me one? Yeah, I'll let you you know what? You be creative and you send it to me. Make it cool though. Not too.
You send you a green screen, and then you can make anything you want your background. Just green screen it out. You can put you anywhere.
I'll put my best man on it.
Put you right in the middle of the 2004 Democratic National Convention in New York City. Could put you right on the main stage. You could put you, put you the Death Star.
Wasn't that Obama's breakthrough speech in 2004 at that? Yeah, okay. I'll get a picture. We'll AI it. I'll be like right up there at the podium with them or something. That'd be awesome.
That's it. We could put you in the Death Star, right at the hole. We could put you in all kind of places.
Let's give him the fake Oval Office that Biden used for 4 years.
Oh my God! Yeah, what happened? What happened to that? What is the state of that?
I don't know.
What did Trump do with that? That's awesome.
Hollywood was fired, and they had to get rid of it.
Yes.
Oh man.
Someone got their office back. That's for sure. But
what was that? Wag the dog.
Yeah, I think that was over in the East Wing, or in the vice president's house there. The executive man. I think that's where it was, in the basement there. So they should probably put put a seal like, this is where the fake Oval Office was. Like, you're standing now where the fake Oval Office was. This is where Biden got his. So
fake president. The fake president needs a fake Oval Office, man. So it all fits together.
That's it. This is why I know Doug's a great guest, even at the last second. No shortage of commentary.
Isn't it the National Observatory where the vice president lives? Rob, you got to check me on that.
I think so. I think that's
Is that what it is? The National Observatory? Yeah. Okay.
I can't make this up, man. I don't even know where that came from.
Mansion. But I don't know. Anyways, a lot of things going on. We got so much happening this week, especially in the last couple of days. From good things to bad things, losing people that have been impactful on our lives, in our culture and society. So we'll talk about all that. So let's talk about, let's get some of the bad stuff out there. Let's just talk about these people dying, because this is just crazy.
Yeah.
yesterday I was
Not
listening
Ozzy.
last couple of Ozzy all day. I mean, it was just like nothing but Ozzy radio and Ozzy passing away. And then, we had Malcolm Jamal Warner, Theo from
Right. I
from,
know.
famous from Bill
The
Cosby
Cosby Show. The Cosby Show. Right.
and drowned off Costa Rica in the beach. And then obviously you had, Ozzy was a major one. I mean, everyone, I don't know what you guys thought, but I was like, wow, what a way to go out on top, just having done that concert on July 5th.
I know. I couldn't believe
Yeah.
it, man. Yeah. It was Ozzy's Boneyard the other day on XM radio was just completely, but they just had people calling in, lamenting. And so it was pretty sad. But
Even
yeah,
the
it was
local radio stations here were the rock stations were playing Ozzy. So
Yeah.
pretty cool.
yeah.
The people that were not happy or were happy about it was PETA. Apparently, PETA was glad because of him biting the head off a bat.
The bat.
They cared
Yeah.
that for the 80s.
Being,
The infamous bat.
Yeah,
being on the
He also-
Alamo.
yeah. It was that they
I
cared
was
more
gonna say
about
he was banned from San Antonio for a while,
Yeah.
right, Rob? A couple decades.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
Because of that.
but yeah,
And he,
so a big one. I mean, the reality show really brought him forth to the center, right? For a lot of people, kind of, his old rocker, kind of, no one really heard much.
mainstream. Yeah.
And then he was like one of the first, and I think only one of the few fully unscripted reality shows. I mean, a lot of the ones are very scripted, right? This and that, whatever. That was truly just following them around.
Well, you could barely understand him, so you get to write your own
Right.
script. I mean,
I was gonna say he wouldn't. Even if there was a script, it wouldn't matter with that guy. I mean,
That may have
I
been
remember
it may have been like,
the burrito episode.
I
Remember, he was addicted to a burritos. He kept going to Chipotle every day, and they had to stop him. That's the one
I never
remember,
watched
'cause I
it.
love Chipotle. So
yeah. Remember, he's with the dog. He
So,
loves the
anyway.
Bulldogs. He's a big Bulldog fan. But yeah, so we had Ozzy, we had Malcolm Jamal Warner dying, drowning. Then, today, a double whammy. We had the Hulk, right? Obviously, just shocked everyone because he was just at the RNC convention and all that stuff. And he was kind of a larger than life kind of guy. And the Hulk passing away today. And on the backside of that came the news, and I'm not sure everyone's heard, that Chuck Mangione died.
yeah.
So he lived right here, an hour from me in Rochester.
I know the horn player guy.
Who kind
Yes.
of regained some of his popularity. I think it was it King of the Hill, or that he became a constant figure.
I think it was.
Yeah, he was doing voiceover. He was on there. He was doing kind of rebranding himself on King of the Hill, and kind of became a semi-regular on there. But yeah, I mean it's Chuck Mangione and the Hulk in the same day, right after Oz, and just like, I don't know
A lot
how
of body blows.
and Mick Jagger and them keep and
Somebody make sure they get eyes on Willie Nelson. Make sure he's still safe.
he's not doing
Right.
well. He's on what they think is his final tour.
I mean, he's pretty old.
He's coming here next month. He is, and it's like that may be it. But I mean,
He's 92.
is he really?
Is it like Farm Aid 42 or something?
No.
The 42nd.
It's Willie and Friends, and it's like, and Bob Dylan's with him, and like a lot of country shows. It's like
Bob
anyone
Dylan.
who wants to sign up with him. It's a big concert. Yeah.
Interesting.
Just to be able to say they did, right, and be part of that, kind of like the Ozzy's concert, right?
Well, Ozzy outlived Richard Simmons. So does that mean sex, drugs, and rock and roll makes you live longer than living a healthy life? I mean, I don't know.
Again, Keith Richards, Ron Wood, Mick Jagger. I don't know.
Yeah. Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
I don't know how all those.
amazing, man.
I mean, Elton John's still kicking it. I mean,
Yeah.
not quite, but he's saw him in concert a couple years ago. But yeah, I mean, obviously we're all dying from the moment we're born, and your job or fame doesn't, But obviously, if you are that, you have an impact on other people because they're fans or whatever.
Right.
And
Influential.
were you guys big into wrestling when you were kids? Was that a big thing for you guys?
Yeah.
when
I was a kid.
I just remember him in Rocky 3. Remember, it was like in that scene in the movie, it was supposed to be some like charity event, and they did like whoever they called, whatever Hulk's character was, fighting Rocky for charity or something, and he was kind of like almost like a villain because he was taking it too seriously, and Rocky had to pick him up and throw him out of the ring. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it's Rocky 3, 1982.
Well,
if anybody cares,
it's in the 80s. Doug remembers every single detail.
it was one hell of a decade, man.
His name was Thunderlips.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Thought he was even in it until because of all the footage today, until I saw a clip of him in it. I was like, oh yeah, he was in a Rocky. So had I not seen that, I would have been looking at you like, he was in Rocky? Like, I don't remember.
Yeah. Dude, there's no way I can make this up. There's no way. So,
you have
it. Great.
I'm disappointed you didn't know his name of Thunderlip. So I'm that Rob had
I saw it in the theater though, but that was a long time ago. I was 14. There you go.
Paid to
Do
go
the
see.
math.
Yeah.
But I did pay.
But Rob, you were a wrestling like little kid.
As a kid, yeah, the Hacksaw Jim Duggan with the 2x4 and the Rowdy Roddy Piper and Hulk Hogan, the Andre the Giant, the Sheik, Sergeant Savage. I mean, all of those guys.
Were your parents into it? Was their family into it?
No,
just you.
Just me as a kid. Awesome. Yeah.
I never was
probably because I was wrestling with my brother because we're pretty close in age and we're watching it and slamming each other on the floor and the couch and breaking stuff. And
maybe that's what it was. My brother's 7 years old. He's 7 years older than me. We just were never. I knew about it, WWE and all this kind of stuff. It just was never anything that I got into. I don't know why.
Well, they had a cartoon as well, if I remember correctly. They had WWE cartoon.
Yeah.
So
in fact, I went to my first wrestling match ever. Was it last year or year before? I think it was last year. My son and I went midget wrestling.
It's so politically correct.
It on my Facebook feed, and I thought he always jokes about midgets and stuff, and I thought that'd be an awesome gift for him. I think I got it from his birthday last year, and we went to they had it here, not just in the suburb of Buffalo. It was like this bar, and they had the whole rink, and a good friend of his, one of his best friends, was like a semi-pro wrestler back in the day, so he kind of knew all the shtick of it. There's a good guy and a bad guy and all that kind of stuff. I'd never was into it. I mean, I knew what it was, obviously seen it, but it was like I sat down and watched it, and that was the first one I ever went, and I had a blast. Like I all the chairs, the tables hidden underneath the rink, and they were pulling them out and hitting people, and everyone's getting all into it, and you're yelling, and I was like, oh, this is what it's all about. Like it's just it's entertainment, and you get to the audience gets to kind of be part of it. As a first one I ever went to, and we talked right then, like next time they come back in town, we're going to see him again. Midget wrestling.
You remember Weirdos there in Austin?
Bigger than you think.
You remember Weirdos? The bar, they had the volleyball courts and everything outside that bar right there. It was over by Fry's Electronics over in that area. So before Weirdos closed, I went and saw midget wrestling there. So.
Oh,
I just remember Enzo's on 6th Street, and you get to dance on the box. Does anybody remember that?
No.
Nothing.
I stayed away from 6th Street for the most part.
Well, this was like 40 some odd years ago. Troy was probably there down from Fort Hood a couple times.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's no way.
You probably don't remember it, but that's okay. It means you had a good time.
I remember, but it was just a bad week for I mean, a bad week anytime anyone dies and stuff, but just for our entertainment and that industry. For actually something, Chuck Mangione. What I mean. That dude is an icon in the brass era, and just the stuff he could do on horns and that kind of stuff is just phenomenal.
He was 84.
What, when you were there?
No, Chuck Mangione. That's
I remember he did like some music for like the 80.
Yeah, but
he did some music for the Olympics in 1980 or 84.
So something else about dying.
It wasn't.
But his show died with Stephen Colbert. His show is dying. Nice segue.
Put us out of our misery. Thank you. Yeah. Never watched it.
People think that it's it was a term of this buyout from Paramount. Other people, obviously, they came out and said, look, it's losing. It was bleeding $40 million a year. I mean, he was getting paid $15-20 million a year. It was about $100 million show, and they're losing $40 million a year. That was their reasoning. The timing of it with the Paramount buyout obviously makes some suspicion. But what are your thoughts? Do you think a network like that is a show that's so iconic, the Tonight Show? I mean, just canceling the show altogether. Do you think a
It,
president has that kind of impact, or do you think that he could? You
I,
think he mandated, or do you think it was financial?
I think it's financial. I think, at least if you want my opinion, and it was probably. It's interesting though. You would have thought they would have just, excuse me, kept it going just as a sort of a keep the resistance going or whatever that
Put a new person in
they
there.
think. Yeah, or something just to keep it going. So it's fair, and maybe they'll come back with something else. But I mean, he was doing it for a while, right? I mean, it's not like it was on for 3 years and they cut it. He's been on for a long time. So maybe we should, that there's the devil, but we'll see if they come out with something else. It'll be interesting. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just being conspiratorial. I don't know. Maybe something worse will happen, but I'm like, I'm like, good riddance, man. Enough.
You can
I mean,
only light so much money on fire. I mean, you can
every
only
time,
burn up so
right.
much.
You remember all the times where they had like the liberal Rush Limbaugh attempts, like all through, they try to put somebody up, and you can only take so much of America sucks and you suck and we all suck and it's all our fault. And not, you can only take so much of that. We're okay. I'm gonna put it back on Ozzy's boneyard because I can't take this anymore. So I think that's probably part of it too. So.
Well, I mean, so we had 4 years of Trump, right? And they only got a 4-year reprieve and what did they do for 4 years? They talked about Trump and they talked about America bad. They talked about all of that. During the first 4 years of Trump, they were losing so much money because after a while, people just got tired of the one trick pony. They got tired of the same shtick over and over. And then when it became Biden, they still talked about Trump. And then Trump's back in office and people are like, all right, we're done. We're done with this. And so that when you're losing $40 million a year, it was either replace him and get, the black eye, or just cancel the show and then revive it later with this newfound, this new guest and generate some interest and maybe get some money back. But I mean, you can only light money on fire for so long.
And maybe his contract was done or whatever, and they just said, "Screw it. This is a good time to cut our loss." I mean, it could be that simple. Like, okay, well, this is a good time to move on.
It's not happening until next May. So the guy's a lame duck. They announced it now. Of course, it did come right after he badmouthed the network because of the settlement with the Trump with President Trump. So you talk shit about your bosses, right? What do you expect? But like, it wasn't like they're waiting, so he can say and do whatever he wants. I mean, he's out, right? So he could probably say whatever he wants on his commentary. But it is interesting. I mean, they could have thrown someone else. They could have thrown, I don't know, Jim Acosta. Maybe he would have been a funny one, or Mark Tubin, right? It could have been a.
We don't want to see Tubin. No, because you never know what he's doing below the camera.
They'll have to. It'll be blurred from here on down. Just constant blur right here.
KJP could have been there, or somebody like that. But yeah, they just got rid of it altogether. And it's the problem is when I was doing the book tour after I got back, and I was doing a book tour with after I was in the sandbox and all that kind of stuff, and I was with Gary Trudeau, and we were doing book tour all over and all that stuff because he was kind of behind the sandbox. And I got very good friends with Gary, and I tell him all the time he's one of my favorite liberal friends. And he and I would talk. We were talking on that thing. We were at the Pentagon, different places, and I was like, the problem, I said, is, because I told him, I said, dude, I still love Doonesbury. It was awesome. I said, but I said, even now, I said, I told him this. So this is 2006, 2007. I said, you're just like the late night talk shows. You guys aren't satire, because he was like, it's satire. I'm like, it's not satire. Satire is you make fun of both sides. Biden gave unlimited. There could have been a 24/7 channel of just satire late night shows about the Biden administration. Between the things they said, Hunter Biden was a never ending. That could have been his own spinoff show. I mean, there was no choice. But I remember telling Gary, I was like, back in the Johnny Carson days, back in even the Jay Leno days, or any of those, Letterman, they would rip on both sides, right? You could rip on Clinton and you'd rip on Bush, right? It was that's why people tuned in. It was semi-fair, and it was, hey, it's late night, I'm laying in bed, kind of unwinding. I've seen all the news. I've seen all my 6 o'clock news, seen all that stuff. Let's watch some comedians kind of poke fun and rip at what kind of current events and what's in the news. And they did it equally to both sides. right? They would
Well,
do
but
it.
they also didn't do it for the entire show. There
They
was
did.
one or two jokes,
Right.
and then they did something that was funny, something that was
Right. Brought in
entertaining.
a comedian. They brought in
Yeah.
usually a band or an up and coming band or performer and do a couple songs. It was like a big deal to be on the Late Show, right? That was like a breakout for people, for a comedian or for a music performer to get a chance to be on the Late Show. That was a sought after thing. That's when you kind of made it. And you talk to, actors and authors and people that have a project coming out. But again, there's always that opening monologue. And that's when, like you say, that's when it happened, right? The opening monologue and whatever. And what they didn't is just march out people like Schiff and Pelosi and Boxer and all these people that just ripped on the Republicans nonstop. And that's what I was telling Garrett one time. I told him, I said, dude, I still love reading your stuff. I said, but you ripped on Vietnam and that, and you had the quarterback and this, and you'd rip on who was Bush's Bush's VP.
Cheney?
No,
No. The guy from Indiana.
Yeah, potato.
Potato.
Right. Right. They represent. I mean, they would rip on all sides, and I told her, I said that Doonesbury was funny because Dan Quayle.
Thank you.
No, nobody escaped it, but then they all went that one way, right? During the Obama years, they all went that, and they just fawned over him, and it was just anyone that wasn't a Democrat they was just rip, and they wouldn't say any different. That's where they lost their people, and that's why Greg Gutfeld is been trouncing them, and it's not even like a typical late night talk show format, right? It's the panel of four people. They talk 3 or 4 current events, and he always has a comedian, and they do a little bit of jokes, and they have people from both sides and down the middle.
Even podcasts like Tim Pool, not the Joe Rogan level, but like the Tim Pools and stuff are trouncing, late night TV. They're trouncing all the evening, mainstream media.
So legacy media, is dying.
Hogan's, all those are doing it because you throw some comedy in there and talk about events and stuff like that. But yeah, Colbert, I mean, it's that they can throw him up as a sacrificial lamb or consider him a martyr, but he did this to himself. And I think the same thing. They said it was financial and everyone ripped on it. It was like, yeah, it's financial. It's called you're losing money. It's financial, right? Whether you're losing money because people are tired of hearing the same old shtick, or they're just bored of you, or they don't like hearing one-sided, conversations.
Well, the irritating thing is the Elizabeth Warrens and the Cory Bookers and we need to get to the bottom of why they fired him. No, you don't. That's none of your damn business. It's none of your business why they fired him. They're a company, and you're working in the government. So it's none of your goddamn business why they fired him. Get out of it and do the people's work. People don't care. They weren't watching it, and that's why it's gone.
They're going to congressional inquiries now. We're going to get to the bottom of this conspiracy. Yeah. Trump did it. All highways.
That shows you how self-absorbed many members of Congress are.
I can just hear it.
They think they're smarter than anyone else, and they think they know more, and everything rides on them. Just like Crockett Rocket there saying, when we did the Iran hit, and she went on her little speaking thing saying, it was up to her and her fellow Congress people to approve that. Like he shouldn't have done that. He was breaking the law. It shows you how little she knows about the Constitution, because it was her decision. She said, my decision whether we bombed Iran. Like, you need to quit drinking your own Kool-Aid there, sister.
Wow.
That is not how it happens. But yeah. So not a good thing for Colbert, and then we got, speaking of dying, and he's not dead yet, but a lot of people considered he was dead through most of his term. You got all the people coming up from Biden's administration talking. And today was the first one, and it was the chief of staff, Ron Klain, that did not drop the Fifth Amendment Fifth Amendment, right? Fifth Amendment,
yeah.
Yeah. The whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All this time they've been claiming the doctor, right? Literally asking the doctor, the White House, is he fit? I claim there's nothing to claim the fifth. You're not going to incriminate yourself. Like that's not how this works, right? That's not what the fifth is for. I wish they would call them back up and say, no, you're not allowed to say that. Like that's not what it's for. But today, Ron Klain, the chief of staff, talked, and apparently talked for a while. But you guys heard any of the details that came out?
I have not.
One small snippet I've gotten so far is apparently he talked about how Hillary Clinton had talked to him and pulled him aside during the time of Biden administration, like I don't know if it was 22 or 23, but was expressing her concern that Biden would even make it to 24 and be a viable candidate in 24. That she pulled the chief of staff aside to that, and that there were several in the administration that were outwardly expressing their concern on his ability to make it that far to 24. But what's more important to me is you finally have someone talking to this in committee that's been subpoenaed. KJP's up next week, I think. She's coming up. There's more coming up. I'm hoping that he set a press. I think they all saw the first one and say, I'm just going to claim the fifth. But he actually talked today and was open and whatever he said. I don't know. We don't know. I think it was closed door. So, but it is encouraging that somebody's talking.
Well, I mean, wonder what they're offering him on the back end, right? Maybe they're saying, we'll give you full immunity if you just speak, right? And I don't want immunity for any of them. I want somebody.
Right. No.
I'm much like the rest of America. I wanted, an ounce of blood. I want somebody behind bars.
I don't think he's charged with anything. Right? I don't think there's any criminal acts, right? I think they just want to know, short of maybe the auto pen thing and that kind of stuff, and then is it a real crime? It's just violating the intent of what that was for, or whatever. But I mean, I think they're just trying to dig in. It's like, was there a cover up? Right. And maybe you're right. Maybe that he was getting immunity for, there was a cover up. We all knew it. Jill was running everything. Hunter was making all the decisions, making the phone calls, whatever. And, KJP was running the auto pen. But
none of his staff got pardons, right? So his son and the Fauci's and the January 6th committee, he didn't pardon any of his staff. So if there was any wrongdoing, they could potentially be charged with something, or, they could just make their lives hell. So
if anyone's guilty, I mean, I would think the doctor stands to be
absolutely
both in
100%.
He's the White House doctor. He is assigned as part of this country to and if he is the one if he was lying or was covering up the mental decline and the inability for a man to be the president as the doctor for that president on behalf of the country, I think, not sure if it's criminal, but it's definitely grossly negligent. And it is part of a cover up because that's his purpose, right? Ronnie Jackson, we've had on the show before. He was the doctor for Obama and Trump, and is now a congressman out of Texas. I mean, he's talked about did two presidents. He's talked about it at great length. He talked about Biden's decline while Biden was in office. He was a White House doctor for two different presidents. Not too many people as qualified as him to talk about that. And to sit there and then say, the guy says, I plead the fifth. It's like, no one's asking you that if you did something wrong. They're just saying, was the president really in charge? Was he aware of where he was? I mean, it's like I guess what we haven't heard about in a while, Biden's cancer. Right. Everybody knows how that fell off, right? He had prostate cancer. Everyone's like, that's a cancer that gets detected like 10 years in
or something. Yeah.
And it was like, that was obviously the election already was over, but it was right after a big data dump. It's like no one has talked about Biden's cancer anymore. That fell off 6 weeks ago. No one's mentioned it. Don't know if he's in treatment.
How is his treatment going? Blah blah blah. Yeah, exactly.
Nothing. No updates. I mean, once you're the president, you'll give updates. You still have a press office. You still have all that kind of stuff. Nothing about that. What we do have though, we got Hunter Biden out there running off of cancer of the mouth. Doug, did you change your mind? Did you feel compassion for Hunter Biden and his recent?
Oh, my heart's bleeding. I mean, come on. But who else would? It's really hard being the president's son, man. Come on, it's really hard. And being a senator's son for like 50 years.
It's amazing that he spent 12 days in the White House the whole time his dad was in office. I think I've seen him walking back and forth to the helicopter more than 12 times.
Right. 100%.
I don't,
those days go by pretty quick when you're on cocaine.
I guess when you're high and you're losing.
It seemed like 12 days, but it was really like, 645 days. Exactly.
Every weekend he was in Delaware for sure. And so was Biden almost every weekend in Delaware. But that's a good point, man. You get on a good bender and and play with some booger sugar for a few days.
Time flies, man.
You lose all track of time. If you're in Lincoln bedroom, if you're inside Lincoln Monument, you don't know where you're at. But yeah, I mean, if they're looking for someone to do damage control, that's not the guy.
Yeah.
And then down there, I mean, the Democrats are so lost. They roll out Gavin Newsom to pretty much same thing, get on a popular show, Sean Ryan show, cuss up a storm, MF the entire Democratic Party, and talk about the whole time about how they did everything wrong and got everything wrong, holding the gun, doing all that kind of stuff. It's complete pandering to the right. Apparently cussing up the storm and dropping F-bombs every other word is how you do damage control. I don't know. And then they roll out Hunter, same thing, talking crap about Axelrod, Obama, George Clooney, every other major, Pelosi, some of the major powers behind the Democratic Party. That shows you how high he is. He had no idea who's in charge. Cussing every other word. And somehow that's going to win people over and make him look like a real person or something.
A regular
like
guy, right? Exactly. Yep.
The only one they got out there, and they don't really tout him out there, but he gets screen time, is Carville, who's like the opposite end of that.
Well, that guy's nothing to look at for sure.
I was tired of that guy 30 years ago. Man, come on, he just needs to retire.
But I don't think Newsom. I don't think anybody's buying his shtick. I don't.
I hope not.
I mean, they can simply look at what he's done in California. They can look at all of the and he during his time in California, he spent more time looking over the fence at his neighbors and pointing the finger than he did fixing his own streets.
100%.
And then only when the leader of China came in did he even clean up the streets. Then in his short time there, the homeless population has doubled, despite spending billions of dollars on it. Their gas prices have almost doubled, despite all these other already having the highest gas taxes in the state or in the country. I mean, he's destroyed a great state and turned it into a shithole. I mean,
the only time they the only time they do anything about the homeless there is when there's a Chinese communist dictator coming to visit. I mean, what does that tell you, man? It's like the only. Oh my God, help us! What about his train? Wasn't there supposed to be some train from?
They finally canceled that after 10 years, and they've spent $5.3 billion on it.
No track was laid. Trump just canceled it, and Newsom has said he's suing the Trump administration because they were so close. They were ready to.
So close.
He's like, they were ready to start laying track. It was about to happen next week after 10 years, and Trump canceled it. And he's going to sue because they wants the 60-something billion over, that's its win to try to lay this speed train, which is doing nothing for the country, but for California. There's no one to ride on it because they're all moving out. So those neighbors that you talked about, he was pointing at, which weren't his neighbors. They were in Texas and Florida. That's all he wanted to talk trash about was Texas and Florida, which is why if you could go during this the last couple of years and look at U-Haul, the cost to rent a U-Haul to go to California was dirt cheap. Because they needed the trailers back because the cost to go out of California was super expensive because they have to bring them back on a flatbed. Everyone was renting them.
It's a migration.
Nobody was renting them to come back. It's like one thing I learned a long time ago when I was in Australia. To ship something to Australia is very expensive. To ship it out of Australia is really cheap because the ships are empty. There is nothing that Australia produces that can fill cargo ships. So you can buy space on a cargo ship leaving the island of Australia, the country of Australia, a lot cheaper than what it takes to get something there because you're fighting for square footage. And California U-Hauls were the same way.
That train was $4 billion in federal funding. How much state funding has been spent on that? $4 billion, and not a single inch of track was laid. And it's what? Between Los Angeles and San Francisco, so it's 388 miles.
Right.
I mean, you could give everybody free gas for the next 10 years for what they spent on not laying any track.
Trump should be suing him to get that money back. I mean, that's ridiculous. The federal money back.
Engineer brigade with a truck full of Rippets and Red Bulls, and they would have an engineer brigade would have engineer bridges laid between LA and San Francisco faster than that. They would build the track and make you a bridge through the water to get there.
A bunch of CBs.
Yeah.
That's
I was just
great.
thinking, yeah, 412 Bravos just out there just trying to, get it going. But yeah, I mean, we put up, I mean, good or bad or indifferent, Biden put up a pier and a
Oh,
whatever
that's
land
right.
in Gaza, right? In
Yeah.
record. Granted, bad design. No one looked at like waves and currents, but they put up that thinking they were going to provide some aid. Wasn't it Biden did it, or
Oh,
did
yeah.
Biden that did
No,
that?
it was
Right?
Biden. It was Biden. It was
Yeah,
Biden.
yeah.
Another win for that administration.
I don't think Newsom is doing. He and you know what? If you watched him go to South Carolina a couple weeks ago, he pulled it out from the Hillary playbook. That boy pandered a Southern accent and was in South
They're
Carolina.
so
How good he would like being there with y'all, and all this guy. It's just like, dude, you've already been beat at this game. There's been a lot before you that have played this card. No
Can
one's.
you imagine an AOC or a Crockett VP on that ticket? Oh my God,
oh
that would be
no.
just it. Please,
No, the
meteor
horror.
hit.
The horror. The
It'd
horror.
probably be. It'd be Doug's boy Beto.
Oh, he's coming back. They said he hasn't ruled it out. So he failed as senator, governor, and
Yeah,
president. So we'll
he is.
just go for. He's got the trifecta. So what's the
Yeah,
quadecta? I don't know. What's the next? What's for four? So yeah, he'll
Newsom
probably
and
run for senate again.
Newsom and Rourke, right? He'd be the VP candidate.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, you mean? Oh.
That would be.
I'm physically ill.
You know what they would do? They'd go, "Oh, he was from Texas. He'll bring in the Texas votes." Like that's not how that's
Oh,
going. Oh,
some
but
of those, a lot of those counties are now red now. That a lot of some things have changed in the last 6 years since he ran.
especially all the
And
ones along. Yes,
the border. Yeah. So good
So
luck,
what
Robert. I'm not calling you Beto. You're Robert or Bob.
Francis.
I'm an idiot. Robert Francis O'Rourke. Give me a
Yes.
break.
Nobody
Yeah.
called me Francis. I kill you. But, there's the 80s reference for you.
I know. Stripes, 1981.
Yeah.
Lighten up,
Yeah.
Francis.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, Rob, what do you got that's coming out this week? What really stands out to you that's happened this week?
Well, something in your neck of the woods. Did you see the guy they arrested in New York was planting bombs and planting IEDs around the city?
Oh,
Did you
I
see
heard
that?
about that. Yes.
Yeah, he had made a couple of bombs and was
So, I mean, I guess if you're in Arkansas, that's my neck of the woods, even though I wouldn't.
yeah.
Call it.
Well, way closer to your neck of the woods than it is mine. Although my daughter
mine.
does live in New York City, so it is important to me. But yeah, I saw that. Now it didn't look like from what I saw that they were too big, right? It wasn't like
No, they were like
you can make pipe bombs, but they were like shotgun shell size.
a little bit
So
bigger. Yeah, like between shotgun shell and like a Coke can or something like that. Something
yeah,
like
so it wasn't going to do too much damage, but I mean, it could do enough to somebody maybe lose a limb or something. And
well, you put some
it's
weight tracks, right? So if you hit that the right
Yeah.
time, it could cause a lot
Be like
more
an
damage.
Israeli pager going off in your on your belt. That's
Right.
kind of like that.
But I mean, it's scary that that we still have stuff like that going on, right? I mean, the guy was like 55 years old. I mean, that's it's a little bit older than me.
Did we get a MO on that? Why he did it?
I still haven't seen a reason.
I haven't heard a manifesto yet, and I'm sure the manifesto is coming out.
I mean,
yeah, I'm sure.
It's like
I'm
the
sure
guy that killed Trump, right? 50,
Yeah.
60 years old,
Yeah.
tall, white, little, definitely black.
Yeah.
He, it wasn't young military age male, Middle Eastern, nothing like that, right? It was,
Right.
yeah. I saw that though. Yeah, I saw the news on that. They snatched him up pretty good though. Thankfully, they reported that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And supposedly, old Maxwell is speaking. I don't know how much. I mean, we talked about the Biden's staff, but Maxwell supposedly had a conversation with the assistant attorney general, and I guess she's being subpoenaed.
She's going. He met with her all day today, and he's going back tomorrow for day 2. So, yeah. I don't know if they were drinking margaritas like the old boy down in El Salvador did, but
the man from Maryland. That's how you're supposed to refer him.
Yes,
just a Maryland man, just from Maryland, dude.
The wife-beating, illegal trafficking Maryland man.
But
he's just trying to make his way.
And they said that she was forthright and answered every question and all that kind of stuff. So, which has always been a question, right? How did they charge her and convict her 20 years for trafficking people, minors and stuff for sex exploitation, but they can't say to who? Like, how did
the problem comes? What questions are they asking her? Did they
Right.
just sit there and shoot the shit all day and not ask the important questions, the one that the American people want to know? Or,
Right.
what did they talk about?
Well, is that a biggest question, or is it, did she leverage something? Like, she's like, what are you going to do for me? Right. You see it in crime movies. Like, I'll tell you, what are you going to do for me? Because look, Epstein's dead. So for her to come out and say, yeah, he did this. And okay, well, there's nothing we can do it. Right. That's not worth any. That's not no value to it. But if she's like, oh no, it was this guy and this person and that person kind of stuff.
So Rob, to your point, my question to her would be like, if I'm up there with my peers, like if I'm a senator or something, how many people in this room are on that list?
Right.
Go ahead.
Well, not even on the list. How many people did you personally see? How many service? Yeah, I want names. I want names of people you and he trafficked to. I mean, the important questions, not the, was there a list? That's a stupid question. But that's the type of questions that these idiots ask all the damn time. Was there a list? Well, what is the list? Define a list.
What's the meaning of the word list? What is we have to define list. Pull a Clinton, what do you what's your definition?
She did not testify in her defense. And one thing she said was, no one's ever asked me. No one's ever talked to me. So that's why she said she was more than talk. No one's ever asked her any questions. No one's wanted to hear her side. Her lawyers didn't have her do it. So, maybe, hopefully she parlays this into something for herself, for her benefit. But, if she doesn't, say, no, I just got to clear my conscience and make right for all the wrongs I did. Here's everything I know. That's even better. But
I would be happy if her time got cut in half, if we arrested 15 to 20 other people. Yeah. But as of today, 0 have been arrested.
They won't convict anyone just off of her testimony. It will take corroborating evidence, right? Because they will lawyer up with the best lawyers ever. And it's going to be like, well, she's convicted felon. Like, you can't go off a he said, she said. That's not going to do it, right? And for her to say, oh, I saw Doug there on the island and I saw him go in the back room. Okay, Doug said, no, you didn't. I mean, you're going to have other evidence.
Well, you can sit her in front of the tapes and say, okay, who was this? And now we have a tape and a person corroborating what was on the tape.
Right. Where's the victims? How come they're not talking to like the victims? Have they all been?
Well, the one
disappeared. Have they? I mean, that's like
Australia. The one she just
gotta go
in Australia.
She committed suicide, or was she?
Yeah. Oh, she was being beat.
Assisted suicide.
Allegedly, she was being very abused by her husband, and she was being very beat and abused and psychologically in all kind of different ways, and she just couldn't take it anymore. He was keeping her from her kids and everything like that. I don't want to get the show in any trouble, but yeah, there's a lot more victims. You're right, but yeah, it'll be it'll be interesting to see what comes out of it, because so far the administration, if they've made a mistake, it's been this whole Epstein thing.
100%. Yeah, they built it up. And nothing to see here. I'm like, no, you can't leave it like that. You just come on, man.
Yeah, don't. And I don't know. What's your thoughts, Doug? Why do you think they did that?
I really don't know, because especially like with the Bongino and the Patel guy, it seemed like they're all, going great gonzos, and all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, it's nothing. I don't know, Troy. And they didn't even characterize. They didn't say there's no actionable evidence or whatever. They didn't even have a press conference. They didn't have they even shared what they have, even if it's like a Post-it note with something. This is what was this, and then what's the next steps? Like I said, what about the victims? Where are they? Isn't there? There's no statute of limitations, is there, on that kind of stuff, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, you just can't just go, I got this big secret, Troy. Yeah, there's really nothing. There's nothing.
Never attribute to malice, which is adequately explained by incompetence, right?
So how do they convict her if they have nothing, how do they convict her
Right.
for sex?
Yeah.
And
Right. There's got to be something somewhere, and there's got to be tentacles to it connecting people.
she's
And
trafficking people what people to who doing what, because you haven't anyone else. I mean, it's almost like her crime was an accessory crime. How can you have an
right.
accessory without the primary? Not a lawyer, don't pretend to be one on TV, but it seems like you can't be an accessory to a crime without having the crime. If you have the crime, then you go after someone for that. Accessories.
Well, that's why I think the rollout of that was just incompetence, right? I mean, because
Totally.
Bongino was ready to step down, unless that was part of the entire show, right? I mean, unless that was something to make it look like it was more than what it was. But I mean,
I kind of subscribe to the conspiracy theory because there's not many left because most of them have come true.
Okay, that's 100. Right. True that.
Subscribe that maybe he was an informant and they went through and dug everything and realized that there's a bigger thing going on. There's a greater cause how could you get Bongino and Patel and Bonnie, all of them that campaigned on everything else to be like, and they got in there and they finally got in the skiff and they opened up and read everything and looked at it. It was like, ooh, okay, yeah, we're not going to be able to because maybe it's that bigger. You guys know the 24 show and all these different shows when you think you found the bad guy and you realize, oh, the president was the one that actually murdered the maid in the East Wing. It was him the whole time. He was raping her. We thought it was the press secretary, right? And all that kind of stuff. Did they get in there and find something? What Epstein did was terrible. Is there a bigger crime or something bigger on a geopolitical stage worldwide?
If your leverage, power, and authority is derived by keeping something over somebody else, then you're guilty of their crimes, in my opinion. Right. So if he was raping little kids, you, by using him as a pawn to leverage power against other people, makes you a rapist of little kids. I don't care if you're the government. I don't care if you're Trump. I don't care if you're Biden or Obama. You're guilty of raping little kids because you use that leverage against other people.
But the intelligence community will do all kinds of things and is not always the most scrupulous to get their mission complete.
No, and they're all guilty. Every effing one of them.
So, yeah. So are they protecting people, you think? I mean, do you think that's part of it too? Or
no, there's no one I don't think Trump's worried about protecting anybody because obviously no one ever looked out after him his first term. I think when you got all those people together, when you got Bongino, all of them, Patel together, and they saw it, I'm just convinced, it's just in my gut, that there is something bigger, worse. I don't want to say better. It doesn't sound right, but bigger.
Yeah, that's not the right.
More impactful than just, hey, Epstein had some famous people. He had Bill Clinton go to his island and had a few famous people go to his island and a prince and all that kind of stuff. That there's something else going on. Maybe it will see the light of day, maybe not. But how can you get all those people to just shut up? You guys know about well as I do. The government cannot keep a freaking secret, right? When people have talked about 9/11 being an inside job, when people have said that to me, I'm like, you obviously don't. You have way too much confidence in our government. Like you realize everyone works for the government hates, half of them hate, half love, and the other third don't care who's in charge and what administration. It's just a job. Like they'll leak stuff in a second. They'll tell their friends and family and everything. There's no secrets unless you are like seriously right into a skiff and you're doing something like the mission in Iran. But you pull off something 9/11 and no one knew it. It was complete. Come on. Well, you had all this. Everyone knew about it. These all people go into a room, see all the evidence and come out, go, nope, nothing here. I mean,
well, I told you one of my theories was Julian Assange was tied to this somehow, and that's why they'd been after him for so many years, because he has a treasure trove of information, right? And so they pinned him down and drove him batshit crazy by locking him up for so long that he finally went, you know what? I want my freedom. I'll give you everything I have. Everything has been destroyed. And so it's true. There is no list. Doesn't mean one didn't exist. It's all what question you ask, versus what was asked.
Right.
Yeah. There's no list. Doesn't mean there wasn't one before.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that's what it is. I think I just can't. These people, they seem to really be strong in their ethics and morals and stuff like that. It has to be something that big that makes them just like, I'm gonna have to change my story and say there was nothing there. My bad. It was just on my desk. I thought it was that. It was actually the Little Caesars menu. I thought that was the list, but it was a peach. I don't know. but because they know they got to answer someday. Someday you're not in administration and you're going to get called on it, right? And for the left to say, oh, it's because Trump's name in there, I think we can all agree, left and right together, that if the Biden administration had this data on Trump or administration
totally.
before, they would have been marched out and not even leaked. They would have like shown them walking it across the street to CNN headquarters and handing it to him. Like it would have been out there to destroy him in the first administration, much less the campaign, much less the second one. But yeah,
I mean, we did see, and we're seeing it now, the links that they went to under the first under Obama to nail Trump. I mean, in a lot of people's eyes, they committed treason. And if they were,
I was going to say
they were willing to,
if
they were willing to commit treason to take down a president and to dismantle, a presidency and the will of the American people. If he was on that list, they would have released it. It'd have been on one of the billboards in downtown downtown New York, on the scanned copy with his name highlighted. So leaflets dropped across the United States.
I haven't had a chance to dig through all it. That was quite a big data dump. I mean, I saw part of her press briefing yesterday, but there's a lot there, and it is not conjecture. It is not speculation. They have
what they do with it.
Dotted I's. Yeah, it is. This is pretty impactful. Now, obviously, people are going, oh, well, I guess what gets me is people are like, oh, there's no way Biden, or Obama, he's not going to get him arrested. He can't arrest him. It's not Obama. Okay. And they're like, it's such an outlandish claim. Yeah, it was an outlandish claim in Trump's first campaign when he said his place was being bugged, wiretapped. And everyone was like, oh my God, how could he say that about a sitting president? And then it came out. Really, everything Trump has said when he's made
he's
a claim.
Been ahead of the curve. Yeah, he's ahead of the curve. Yeah.
Probably talked about on the show before. About halfway through the first administration, I was like, I realized he's like me when I talk to my kids when they were little. When I ask them a question, I already knew the answer to, right? I've already been in their room and knows that's clean. And I'd be like, is your room clean? Well, I'd like, let's talk about this again before you lie to me. Like, I already know the answer. When Trump would say something, and he would, of course, he's a showman, and he would, make sure every camera was on him everywhere he moved. And he made a big deal, and people were like, oh, I can't believe he said that. It was just like, or make that accusation, and then it would come out to be true. And then by then it's on page 6 and no one's issuing retractions and no one's making corrections, and they're all forgetting that, Trump said that's what was going to happen. I mean, look what's going on in the economy now. He said, I'm going to bring down the price of eggs. I'm going to bring down this. I'm going to do this. He did the tariffs. We got 3 deals this week. One with Japan. That's huge, right? The economy's turning around. Markets breaking records. Prices of eggs are down. Gas is down. Whatever. No one's coming out in the mainstream media and saying, except for like one dude on CNN that keeps talking about polls, and he's just talking about polls. He's not talking about the facts, but everyone else that they poll sees the facts. And his polls are going through. I mean, the Epstein thing came out, and Trump went up in 2 points. He went up 2 points on the national popularity poll after the Epstein fiasco with Bondi and all that kind of stuff. I was like, oh, he's done. That's going to do him in. MAGA's going to split. They're going to have a MAGA war. Like, nope, more people like him now.
Well, to the leftists that are arguing that, well, you can't do that to a former president, that Pandora's box was open as soon as they committed lawfare against Trump, tried to kill Trump, try to take him off of ballots. That train is passed. So I don't want to hear from any of them saying you can't do that to a former president because you tried
his place. Remember they searched his place in Mar-a-Lago and stuff.
Went through the first lady's underwear drawer and did all that kind of stuff and everything like that. Yeah. They found some things down there marked, but then they found them, they're right behind Biden as he's backing up his Corvette in his garage unsecured.
Yeah, it's just that box in his garage.
It's just like, and then Obama and Pence came out, had some, Obama had some. Okay. So some people got stuff, if you've been at inauguration, that is a quick turnaround that day. And they are
even worse than that was the stuff that he had at the college that China had access to.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, his house is one thing because you can kind of say, okay, well, there's Secret Service there. There's who's coming and going. Nobody knew who was going to that college and reviewing that information. Nobody. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can go after definitely. And there's no president that you're not immune for life from. No one is above the law. And if the smoking gun that Tulsi dropped looks as bad as that Obama particularly called in Clapper and them and told them to make this, assign people, and she went through how they had one drafter and 4 analysts, and everything was unorthodox in how they put together an intel report and all that kind of stuff. They didn't follow any of the regular things, and in fact, the CIA even went to Clapper and them and said, "Hey, this hasn't been validated. It is not verified. You can't." And they're like, "Nope, we're putting it out anyways." And it was just they just, I mean, because now people feel they can come forward, and they're, whether you call it whistleblowing or whatever, they're like, "Nope, this is what happened. I tried to tell them. I sent an email. I did this," and they just blew me off. I've never seen that done before. I mean, it's there's going to be. This isn't like, an accusation goes out, so you get some good primetime news and Sunday morning coverage, and then, it's kind of like, what I've seen from this administration in the second term is that the bloodhounds are on it, and it's not coming off, and they're not worried about trying to get clickbait or just some camera fodder for a talk show. They're after it. And,
well, again, I want a pound of flesh. I like many others want to see somebody go to jail, and not some lowly analyst or some office worker somewhere. Somebody of high profile who knew about this, who committed these atrocities, need to go to jail.
Who ordered it? Right. Exactly. Start there. Start at the top, and then go down.
And, don't let Hillary near them, because they may all start trying to kill themselves or something. We don't want that to happen. But, it's something. But, yeah, the intel dump is big. It's going to continue generating. I mean, I saw a little, watched a little of the press briefing. I'm not going to go read it all, because there's enough other people get paid to do that. And they'll put out and they'll corroborate what was said in it and that kind of stuff. And charges will be filed. But the most important thing is she turned it over to the DOJ. So,
right. She referred it. She's referred it.
Jay does and goes after that. And again, some people call it lawfare, but again, that cart, like you said, that horse has already been let out the barn. And it's if it's a crime, it's a crime, right? It's not making stuff
exactly.
Up.
It's right. So, enforce it.
But,
so,
what do you think about these trade deals, though? I mean, they did not get the coverage that I thought they would. I mean,
no, they're not.
It
must be good news. It's all good news. That's why, Troy. It's all good news. That's why we're not hearing about it.
So it's good for the country. So most of the media is not covering it.
What about Trump at the Fed? I heard Trump was at the Fed walking around.
I watched
viewing all their upgrades.
3.4 billion apparently.
So that'll probably make the rounds. You'll have to see it. I'm sure it's on YouTube already. Because he had Powell right next to him, and they had hard hats on, and he's talking about how it's 3.4 billion over, and I'm just looking over while I'm working. I'm on a call or something, and I see Powell shaking his head, like literally disagreeing with the president standing next to him, and he's like, "No, that's not. But that's not where we're at. We're not this. We're not that." And he looks over and he goes, "We're not." And he goes, "No." He goes, "Where'd you get that number?" And he goes, "Something." And I'm paraphrasing. He's like, "I haven't heard that number. Where'd you get that number?" And he's like, "Oh, right here." Trump had the receipts with him. He pulled it out of his pocket. It was like, right here. You haven't seen it? He goes, "I haven't seen this. Who prepared this?" He goes, "Your agency." And just handed him. I'm like, dude, that was so savage.
He spent his life in construction. He knows how to view it.
Yeah. He had it right here. And Powell looks at it and goes, "No, oh, that's for that third building." He goes, "Yeah, it's a building. It's getting built." "Oh, that was that." He's like, "No." And Trump just blew him off and just kept talking. And he just kept over there shaking his head. I'm like, this is about as awkward as the Zelensky briefing in the Oval Office.
Yes.
I mean,
the argument. Yep.
The guy who's calling him, he's been calling him too late Powell right next to him, telling him he should be fired, quit, this and that, whatever. Makes him get on, which, Trump is good at doing. Like when he had Gretchen Whitmer. Gretchen Wilson's a great country singer. Sorry about Gretchen. Office, right? She thought she was there something and had her like, "No, get over here," and just brought her right out there in front of the camera. She tried to cover her face. Like, so, what Powell can't say no. He's the Fed. He's the Federal Reserve Chairman. "Hey, let's go tour your building. You're going to stand here while I talk to the cameras, and I'm going to talk crap about you in front of you." But he still does it tactfully with some civility, but you don't have to read too hard between the lines. But yeah, he tried to argue with Trump. Trump's like, "No, here's the estimate right here. I got the new PO."
Well, nobody should be getting a new building or an upgrade or a new desk or a new chair that can't perform. If any of us didn't perform at our jobs, we'd be fired. We wouldn't get a new chair, a new computer. We wouldn't get a new
A new
office.
building, right?
Yeah, we would get fired.
Right.
The government is running a deficit. We have been for decades. Nobody should be getting anything. We should be cutting things. People should
Contract
be sitting on buckets.
the money that Rubio pulled back from all the State Department's embassies where they were doing
Yeah.
pool upgrades. That came out this week. I don't know. You have to Google it, but I want to say it was in the neighborhood of 50 to upper million of swimming pool upgrades at the embassy in Baghdad and Turkey and all these renovations, and he stopped it all. They were getting brand new swimming pool upgrades and furniture upgrades at the embassies, and it was like some contract from the Biden time, and Rubio stopped it all. And it was like they were like swimming pools at embassies. Like you're working for them on behalf of the American people and
American people.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's
Yep.
go get a soaker tub. Like you don't need a swimming pool. You're
$41,000 for the rehabilitation of the pool at the embassy in Moscow.
Yeah.
That's
And,
just one.
right. I don't even know why they have. I mean, a pool. Make it a shooting
Why
range.
did they?
Pool.
There you go. There you
But-
go. And close the Fed and turn it into a homeless shelter. You heard it here first. There you go. That's what I want. $3.4 billion homeless shelter. Who could be against that, Troy?
Well, what if the IRS was already turned into a homeless shelter? Shouldn't it?
That's good too. We'll turn that into like the veterans, the VA, a new VA building for them.
Two pools in Haiti, 5 in Iraq, 3 in Sudan, 1 in Russia, 1 in Zimbabwe, and 1 in Ghana. To be renovated, totaling more than $1.2 million.
Oh, only 1.2.
You gotta have a nice pool in Ghana, Rob. Come on.
I was thinking the Zimbabwe one.
5 in Baghdad. How many different places are we in Baghdad or in Iraq? I mean,
I know.
Annexes?
You got one in Basra. You got one in, you got one out west. You got one. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe one is the border. You swim on both sides. You swim the country.
5 in Iraq.
Is it one? Yeah. Is that like the plan where they wanted to break Iraq up into 5 different pieces? So maybe we're ready to do that. So we have an embassy in each.
Are any of them
grottos, if you will?
Are any of them grottos, like the waterfall and that kind of stuff?
I don't know. One of them looks almost like an Olympic pool in the picture.
Yeah. So it's
the Baghdad embassy a whopping $444,000.
God help us, man.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much, and don't you love it that the left, when we had the 250th birthday for the Army, how many of the left come out and said it's going to cost $30 million? They could use that to house veterans. Now you care about taking care of veterans? Now that's your thing,
right?
The right.
Have you ever cared about a veteran?
It's all about we money on a parade. Yeah, Google how many countries do military parades. Sometimes every year, like we're the only ones that don't. Just like most countries. Of our allies, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Canada, and stuff, they don't recognize Veterans Day. They recognize the entire month, the month of November. They all wear the red poppy, and it's all about the entire armistice and Veterans Month. So it's like what? A lot of countries are a lot more patriotic, even about America, than America is. And like I say, they have their parades. It's not just China and Russia that has those. Countries all over, short of Germany. I don't think Germany does a military parade, but all the rest do. Germany
would
be in big trouble if they did a parade.
Since 1939, there's been no military parades.
Well, if you've ever been to Germany, they are not. There's no pride in their country or military, and it's a shame because I've worked with some of their soldiers, and they've talked to me about how. There's no like when people see military and wave flags and there's none of that. It's considered taboo to even show any country pride or military because people are so scared about
so paranoid. The past.
Mom in the chat there, that made me laugh, Mom. They're so paranoid. It's such a dark stain on their history that no one wants to come across as being that proud of their country that it may be misconstrued back to those days of Nazism. All right, we talked a lot. Doug, you did not give you a lot of topics before we wrap up. Any topic this week?
No, mine was, I think we kind of at least grazed over them. It was Trump and the Fed. So at least I got my homeless shelter ID in there because that's what I want to happen to the Fed. I want it closed and put to good use. And then the other thing was the Tulsi stuff. the release of that and the referral of that to the DOJ. That was kind of my highlight. And then, of course, the passing of, Ozzy and Chuck Mangione and the Hulkster and the Cosby Show, Malcolm Jamal Warner. So,
Jamal Warner.
yeah, there you go. I just gave you, that was the Reader's Digest version of my week. So there you go.
That's it. It's only Thursday. What will tomorrow bring?
Oh
What
dude, the night's not over. It's only 2000 here. It's only a little after. It's like
I'm wondering who's dying. I don't know.
Well, they say they die in threes, right? I mean, so
we had 4. Well, if you don't count Warner,
so now we need
4. Yeah.
Is it going to be? I hope there's not 2 more, man. Make it 6. Yeah, that's.
Like you said, somebody go check on Willie Nelson. Make sure he's all right.
Dude, if something happens to Willie Knight, you're really going to feel bad. You're going to be like,
probably, yeah. But speaking of Ozzy though, I don't recall. I know when Prince died and Jackson died, Michael Jackson. It was a big deal. But the Ozzy death seems a little bit different. I mean, there is a lot of people that he touched. Outside of music.
Influence.
Yeah, I think the reality show. Both of his kids and Sharon she was on The View. She's on talk shows. Both of his kids. And their own shows and that kind of stuff. People got to know him as a person. The Hulkster did too, right? The Hulkster had his own show. Another one had a reality show. Same thing if Gene Simmons dies, right? When he dies, right? Because Family Jewels. I mean, so people got to know Ozzy and this character that was, again, biting heads off of bats and dark eyeliner and heavy metal. And then
snorting ants.
Then you
snorting
see
ants.
Little bulldog on his lap and shut in, and he's looking all over and he can't eat his yogurt and you see he's like, oh, he's just a normal person. I think that's why people were so impacted. And then 2 weeks ago, roughly, dude does his final concert and people
strapped in a chair.
Crying because they know this is it. No one had idea in 2 weeks he'd be gone.
Yeah.
I think that's why.
Maybe he did. Maybe he did, and he just said, I'm gonna range her up, so to speak. I'm gonna do this awesome last show, and then maybe that's.
There's rumors he went to Switzerland, and he and the family went to Switzerland, which I think it's legal there. Assisted suicide. So that's that's a rumor.
Kelly put up a video. I mean, two days prior to him dying, he's at the breakfast table with his little grandchild and he's reading the papers and he's got his hair up in a man bun, his glasses on his nose, and he's like, they say good morning. He's like, good morning. 2 days before he died. I mean, he was just being a pop normal kind of guy and stuff. And I feel terrible. I mean, I had the pleasure of getting to meet and hang out with Kelly Osbourne for a night and a few years back in Vegas and got to hang out with her and get to know her a little bit. And I actually texted and messaged with her for a while after. I mean, she was a cool chick back then and was going through a lot of stuff and definitely has. But, what I've seen of her and her brother Jack and all that, I mean, they seem like a very close family. And again, I think that's why it's had such an impact. I mean, man, his music just spanned, even if people don't listen to heavy metal now, they all did when they were kids.
Yeah.
It definitely
decades and decades. Wow.
I can't wait to see what the tribute concert is going to be. There's going to be something. It's going to be there'll be a big one for sure. Everyone, I think across genres, everyone listens to some Ozzy, no matter what kind of music. Including performers, country, rock, rap, whatever. Crazy Train, you just
the Crazy Train at every football game, right? Every high school football game ever, they're always playing that. So yeah, absolutely, everybody knows who that is. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. That was great. We'll wrap it on that note, and just hopefully we got a guest lined up for next week. I know, and hopefully doesn't cancel. We got him good to go, but. Thank you for tuning in here on episode 371. Thank you, Doug, for coming on, and Rob for
God bless you guys. Yeah, thank you.
We need to get Toby back on. He's been swamped down there just killing fish in Cabo, but we got to get him back on too. We haven't seen him in a minute, so I'll let you guys. Everyone have a good night.
Thank you guys. Have a good evening. Take care. God bless.
Yep.